Hi there, my name is Jesse Pohlman and I'm a sci-fi fantasy author from Long Island, New York. This is my cat Ariel. She is constantly pawing at me from behind the screen. And welcome to the second episode of Untitled Writing Advice, where we're still not even sure if we're keeping this name. We're open to suggestions on what you think we should name this, and we have better visuals coming up that with hopefully better sound too. See, I'm closer to the microphone. Today's topic is definitely reflected in the feedback I got on the previous episode from those I care most about and the changes I've made, because today we're going to talk about what makes for a good first draft of a story. I know my old New York City Department of Education folks are all asking themselves, how can I evaluate why Jesse is making such a low-ranked question on Bloom's taxonomy? But that's my title and I'm sticking to it. I'm going to teach you by first giving you an example and walking through the idea afterwards. The thing to keep in mind is, this is the golden thing to pull away from this little mini lesson. The goal of a first draft is to make something exist so it can be improved upon. See, my first draft of this show looked like what you see on the screen here, right now. Here's a quick taste of what I've learned, and through your feedback, what I will continue learning. You see I made some changes, right? I still have the question in the top right. So that's there, so you can see the question, but you're focused on me as I teach you a thing. I can even, if I wanted to, swap to a totally different scene and talk about what's there for a minute. Let's see if this works. Oh my, and here we are. We have Pen and Magica. That's a tabletop role-playing game I'm working on. It's rules light. It's in its first draft. It's all first draft stuff. We'll talk about that in a second. It's going to be fun, but for now, let's switch back to our main topic. See, in this video and the first one, the goal of having a first draft was to have something to build off of. See, you can't really make sure your writing is good until, first and foremost, your writing exists. If it doesn't exist, how do you revise it to make it good? You can't. That's how. If you want a video on the whole topic, leave a comment and let me know. But for what it's worth, in the plotter versus planter debate, or pantser debate, or anything like that, I'm always on team plotter. And I think that's the best way for writers to go, even though I don't think anyone is fully one thing versus another. Again, if you want a whole video on that, leave a comment. Let me know. I will be happy to make that video. To that end, the first draft, or in my case, my first introduction video, was just to establish what I could do with the gear I have and the knowledge I already had. In other words, I already know what I'm doing. I already have the stuff. I don't need to make anything new, really. I just go. Now, I took some feedback, including from a little private beta test video, and put it into action. I've changed around some aspects of my process that you can see and behind the scenes, and now I've, in theory, improved. Do let me know. It's very similar with writing. If you're doing proper outlining, proper pre-writing, all that stuff, all the planning that I think belongs in writing, you have at least certain plot islands that you want to draw connections to. The exact how do I get there is up to you to write. That is the act of making decisions. That is writing. John Adams. How you get there is up to you. And that can seem infuriating and intimidating because, hey, don't you need to know how to get there? But the thing is, it doesn't have to be perfect. I call this part of the first draft brain vomit. It exists to connect those plot dots. So prepare your soul and preemptively forgive yourself for the mistakes you'll inevitably make. You're, I'm assuming, a human. You might be a machine reading this. You might be an alien reading this. I don't know. But we, humans, don't make perfect art on the first try with no forethought. That really doesn't happen. Doing something like this takes forethought. The art improves further once you go over what's there and tweak it. You make it better as you revise it. See, I like to use the word revise because that's what you do to your own work. While an editor works with your work. Takes your work and has the distance from it that isn't you. They're not living in your head. They don't know what you meant by that thing. They can ask you what you meant by that thing that they didn't understand, that you wouldn't have thought a reader wouldn't understand, because to you, it's all in here. It makes sense. And by the way, this whole little sidetrack was a revision. So you can see, hopefully I'm making it better. Oops, that was the wrong button. Because the thing is, your first draft is ultimately going to be revised. If it's not, there's a problem. And that's when it'll be made better. Once you show it to beta readers, once you ultimately hire an editor, or get an editor through finding an agent and a publisher and all of that shebang if you're traditional publishing, which again, I can make a video on self and traditional publishing. Just let me know in the comments. If you're doing well, if you're taking notes, and if you don't have a cat sitting on your notes, I know, love, your notes might look something like this, which is a lot, right? There's word choice, there's placement, there's why pick that as your starting spot, and there's mood, and there's all sorts of stuff underneath it. That is all important because it means A, my work is not the best it could be, and B, those notes help me figure out where I'm going. And see, this is me doing pantsing right now because this isn't in my script, as you might not know. I do have a script. I can show them to you if you really want. So, what do you need for a good draft? What makes for a first draft? The answer is you just need to make it exist by putting words on the page, knowing that you will eventually go through that work, and no matter how much you hate it, no matter how much it gives you a headache, you will make it better. And you will make it what you imagine through those revisions, and then you'll still have edits to go through, because if you trad pub, you get an editor. If you self pub, you hire an editor because you're the publisher. Your job is to hire the people that do the job. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. If you enjoyed this little bit of advice, please do hit the like button to help get it to more people. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. I'm on YouTube as Jesse Pohlman, Blue Sky at jpohlmanwriting.com, and my website is, of course, www.jpohlmanwriting.com. All that stuff is down there. It's mirrored. I'm mirrored, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it taught you something. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Peace.